everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur TV show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. Also, you can follow the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur fan page, and you can follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. All right, let's get into it, honey, because prosecutors declined to charge the officer in the no-knock warrant that killed Amir Locke. You all remember that, right? So they're saying the Minneapolis police SWAT team officer who fatally shot Amir Locke while executing a no-knock search warrant in a downtown apartment in February is not going to face charges. But are we really surprised? They said the Hennepin County attorney, Michael Freeman, and Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison announced Wednesday that they are declining to file criminal charges in the case. They say while confirming that Locke was a victim in the case and not under criminal investigation, nor was he named on the warrant. Okay, wasn't even named on there. So they said there is still insufficient admissible evidence to file criminal charges in this case. And that's what they're saying. They say specifically the state would be unable to disprove beyond a reasonable doubt any of the elements of Minnesota's use of deadly force statute that authorizes the use of force by Officer Hannerman. Nor would the state be able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt a criminal charge against any other officer involved in the decision-making that led to the death of Amir Locke, according to a statement by Freeman and Ellison. I don't understand how they can say this and come to this conclusion. I don't know how they come to this conclusion because at the end of the day, someone is at fault. Someone is clearly at fault. And so this is what they're saying, though. They say Locke, age 22, was killed seconds after the SWAT team entered the apartment where he was staying without knocking as part of an investigation into a homicide case in St. Paul. And now, body camera video showed several officers enter the apartment using a key. Once the officers spot Locke, who was wrapped in a comforter on the couch, they repeatedly shout, "Police, search warrant." They also shout, "Hands," and get on the ground. Body camera footage shows Locke holding a gun before he was shot. Now, officers said the gun was pointed in their direction, but Locke's family questioned that accusation. And then Karen Wells, Locke's mother, said it appears from the body camera footage that her son was startled awake. She called his death an execution. That's absolutely what it was. It was nothing but an execution. And the gun was never pointed at them. It looked like he was reaching for it. Now, Locke's death sparked protests and calls for investigating the use of no-knock warrants. In response, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey announced that an immediate moratorium on such warrants as the no-knock search warrants would be done. They say a new policy was announced in March that requires officers to knock and wait before entering a residence when carrying a search warrant. Well, I'd like to know if they're actually going to do that, because even though that may be something that they're ordering them to do, we all know the cops do what they want to do. They don't follow the rules, honey. They do whatever they want to do, and that's just the fact. We've seen it numerous of times. We have seen this before and heard this same story before, honey. I don't believe anything the devils say. So basically, no justice, no peace. Here we go again from the darn police, all right? And so it just looked like Amir Locke's family is going to have to continue to just, suffer the consequences of their actions, the police's actions, I mean. And with that all being said, I'm hoping that they're going to get some compensation from suing, because it's all crazy. All crazy. Let me go to to what the family had to say. Likes up, everyone. Please get the likes up. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this report, and then I'll see if I can find footage of the family speaking.
About the incident, ABC News contributor and trial attorney, also host at Law and Crime Network, Brian Buckmeyer. And, Brian, before we talk about these no-knock warrants, we still don't understand why Locke had this gun in the first place. We heard from his mom saying that, he was a good boy and he got the gun by the book. But Why did he have it? Why was he sleeping with it? Why was it even there present as he was sleeping on the couch? Do we even know?
Yeah, so Kira, thank you for having me first and foremost. As we start off, first, he's a registered gun owner. And to answer the question, at least in the short way of answering it, he's legally allowed to carry a gun in the state of Minnesota based on being inside the home. And from my understanding, he had a gun license from Texas. And most gun owners will tell you that if they're staying at a location and they're sleeping somewhere, they may leave their items like their keys and their wallets and maybe even their gun inside their dresser for just such an occasion. Today it's the police, but if this was a random person breaking into your home, this may be the location where you may want a gun to be so that you are quickly at the draw to be able to protect yourself. And I think that's part of the argument here, that this was a legal gun owner shocked in a home that he was staying in, a family member, and he reached for a gun as many reasonable gun owners would.
Point well made. Okay, so no-knock warrants. Let's talk about these. They got a wave of attention in 2020 when Breonna Taylor was killed while she was sleeping in her home. We remember that. We covered that whole story together. Now the killing of Amir Locke is bringing this issue up again. So Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey now freezing the use of these no-knock warrants temporarily. How are these warrants issued, and what possible effect could this shooting death have on their use going forward as well?
So it's interesting both how these warrants are issued in general, but also specifically in this case, because what we're finding out specifically in this case is that the St. Paul Police Department actually went and asked for a warrant for this location. They asked for a knock warrant. And then the Minneapolis Police Department actually said, we want a no-knock warrant. And the way that works out is if a different police department has to basically go and issue or execute a warrant in a different precinct, they may often go to the other police precinct to say, hey, we're kind of doing this in your backyard. Can you help us out? You know the area better than us. And that's what happened. Interestingly enough, they got upgraded from a knock warrant to a no-knock warrant. And typically the way that works out is if you present to a judge, you say, hey, there may be evidence, there may be contraband. Oftentimes we're talking about drugs. That may be flushed down a toilet, or there may be an ability for the person to evade law enforcement. And so because of that, we need the element of surprise. But as Benjamin Crump and Jeffrey Storms, the attorneys on this case, are arguing, is this makes it dangerous for everyone, whether it be the officer running into an environment where they don't know if this person is illegal or a legal gun owner, or for the individual being bombarded with this noise and this gun in your face. And a reasonable person, as happened in the Breonna Taylor case, or as is being argued here in the Amir Locke case, would reach their gun thinking that they're going to be robbed or harmed. Lo and behold, it's the police, and they get shot and killed.
So what kind of legal recourse can the Locke family take here?
So it is going to take a long investigation, because right now we don't have the officer's body worn camera. We have other angles, but not the specific officer, Officer Hanneman, who shot Mr. Locke in this case. And what they're looking for now, I think, in the microcosm, and that would be the officer being terminated, potentially having charges against him. And then also in the macrocosm, I think this is going to be a flagship case where maybe Minnesota needs to rethink whether or not they're going to have no-knock warrants at all. We know that the mayor has put a moratorium on the execution of these no-knock warrants and also the request of them. But he's kind of carved out this part where he says, well, if there's a need for immediacy, either to the public safety or the individual safety of a person, then you can go with the no-knock warrant and go in. But if you're going for a warrant, you have to go before a judge, go through the whole Q&A process. There's not that immediacy that's needed. So why create that back door into no-knock warrants? That's something that's going to be argued heavily in Minnesota going forward now.
Brian Buckmeyer, always good to talk to you, Brian. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Let me tell you all something that really got on my last nerve when she was talking and asking those questions. Now, pay attention. She asked, why would he have a gun? Why was he in possession of the gun? Why did he have it? And why was it right there by his bed, by the sofa when he was sleeping? I mean, his mother said he was a good boy. First of all, he's a grown man. That's for number one. And second of all, pay attention, because it seems like Karen associates Black people with guns with nefariousness. Now, she doesn't ask white folk why do they have guns, because in her mind, they have guns for protection. But in her mind also, we have it to go out and commit crimes. And that's exactly what these devils think. These racist people, that's what they think, honey, that we have guns to go out and commit crimes. But aren't they the ones that do that? I mean, that is why the McMichaels killed Ahmaud Arbery, because they had guns and they didn't use them for protection. They used them to go out and commit crimes, right? Just like the father and son down there in Mississippi who shot at the FedEx driver. They use theirs for the same thing. But it's so funny and amazing how whenever they see black people with guns or they discuss the fact of black people owning and having guns, they don't first ask, was this person a licensed gun holder? You know, did they have a license to carry? Were they a licensed gun owner? They don't ask that. The first thing she wants to know is, well, why do you think he had the gun? And it was right there lying beside him while he was sleeping. Like, that's crazy. Fool, where else is it going to be when you're asleep? It's supposed to be right there by you. So if you get startled out of your sleep and wake up, you can reach for it. What are you going to do? Someone breaks in, a whole home invasion, and your gun is there, but it's somewhere in the house where you have to get up and go look for it so you can get killed. I mean, sadly for Amir Locke, he turned up getting killed anyway because it was the nefarious police. But that was just a dumbass question. Like, who does she think she's talking to? But that's how they think about black people, honey. Pay attention to the devil, honey. They think it's all fine and dandy and well and good when they have guns. But a black person having a gun, that's unheard of to them. Why do you Negroes need guns? And why would you ever sleep with it lying next to you? Your mother said he was a good boy. I mean, that's just real crazy. What that makes him a bad one because he has a gun? These people, I cannot. Anyway, likes up. Please like and share. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell. Click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. And I hope you all have a blessed and beautiful day. Peace.